The week between the deaths of Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa may make it easier to liquidate the star's $80 million Hollywood fortune, according to lawyers. Santa Fe, New Mexico, officials disclosed facts on Friday about their investigation into the mysterious deaths of Hackman, 95, and Arakawa, 65, who were discovered dead in separate rooms of their house on February 26. Arakawa died of a rare virus transmitted by mice on February 11, while Hackman, an Alzheimer's patient, died of heart problems on February 18, according to officials. She was discovered in the toilet with one of the couple's 3 dogs, which was dead in its kennel. These findings from the New Mexico office of the Medical Investigator and the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office clarified many of the questions raised after the couple's remains were discovered by a gated community caretaker. According to CelebrityNetWorth.com, they may also play a role in dividing the couple's property, which includes a $3.8 million home in Santa Fe, as well as other assets. This could affect any inheritance received by Hackman's son Christopher and 2 daughters from his former marriage to Faye Maltese, Elizabeth and Leslie. Arakawa, a Hawaii-based pianist, had no children. The couple's deaths are significant because under New Mexico law, if they died within 120 hours of each other, their deaths would have been categorized as simultaneous. This may have influenced how Hackman and Arakawa's properties were divided. However, when investigators discovered Hackman survived for 7 days after his wife due to pacemaker activity, those provisions would not apply, and his inheritance may be divided among his beneficiaries other than Arakawa, experts said. In many places, including New Mexico, there's a kind of presumption triggering period of 5 days before you're determined to have survived under the terms of most wills, Kevin Holmes of Holmes Law Firm explained. Many specifics about Hackman and Arakawa are unknown, but given their Hollywood money and access to lawyers, Holmes believes they each signed a will or established a tax-friendly trust. Those wills or trusts may specify a schedule for simultaneous death that differs from the 120-hour term stated in New Mexico state law. However, most persons follow the state regulation. Married couples who make wills frequently give their whole estate to each other. However, because estate plans are secret, it is unknown who Hackman and Arakawa have selected as beneficiaries of their assets. According to John Budiger, an attorney with Budiger and Tan, Budiger, Holmes, and others all mentioned that there are numerous additional unknowns that could come into play in the coming weeks. Budiger believes that the most important unknown aspect is who Hackman and Arakawa have designated as beneficiaries. People usually name their spouses and children. However, it is not commonplace to name carers, friends, and even caregivers. Budiger responds, "It's your money. You're free to give it to whoever you choose, including a donkey sanctuary in Connecticut." He stated that the date any will or legal documents were signed could also be crucial. That's especially true for Hackman, who is deteriorating from Alzheimer's, as any recent modifications to his paperwork could be questioned. If it's more recent, it doesn't mean it's invalid. It just means it's more vulnerable to a challenge, especially if it's doing something like leaving everything to a caretaker, Budiger explained. Other unknowns include whether Hackman and Arakawa entered into any pre- or post-nuptial agreements, as well as whether any children or other possible beneficiaries will make claims on the estate. And while some action is expected in the coming days, the entire process may take much longer. Under New Mexico law, family members and others have up to 3 years after a person's death to file a probate petition. Hackman's 2 daughters, Elizabeth, 62, and Leslie, 58, along with granddaughter Annie, issued a statement expressing their devastation over his passing. He was loved and admired by millions around the world for his outstanding acting career. But to us, he was always just Dad and Grandpa, according to the statement. Leslie stated that she was close to her father, but had not spoken in a few months before his death. While Santa Fe Sheriff Adam Mendoza is confident in the timeline of events at the couple's residence, he told reporters on Friday that the case will stay open until they close the loopholes. Despite the fact that each of the deaths was pronounced natural, with no signs of internal or external trauma, Mendoza insists that the inquiry is not over. The sheriff specifically stated that detectives are awaiting the couple's cell phone records, as well as the findings of a necropsy, or autopsy, on their slain dog. According to the search warrant, officers took 2 cell phones from their house. Hackman and Arakawa met in a gym in California in the mid-1980s and soon went to Santa Fe, where they married in 1991. They were involved in both the city's art and culinary scenes. They appeared less frequently in town in recent years as his health deteriorated. Mendoza said they led a very secluded life before their deaths. Both Hackman and Arakawa looked to have fallen to the floor unexpectedly, and neither had evidence of blunt force damage. Arakawa was found lying on her side in the bathroom, apparently infected with rodent-borne hantavirus, an uncommon disease in the United States. The majority of occurrences in the United States occur in the western states. The virus is mostly transmitted in northern New Mexico via deer-mouse droppings and urine. It is frequently spread through the air when humans sweep sheds or clean closets where mice have lived. It starts with flu-like symptoms and progresses to heart and lung failure, resulting in death in 38 to 50% of patients. Zina, the couple's 12-year-old Australian Kelpie mix, was found dead in a crate in the same room. On February 9th, Arakawa picked up Zina in a crate from a Santa Fe veterinarian, which could explain why the dog was discovered dead in the crate, Mendoza added. It could have died due to famine. Their other dogs, Bear and Nikita, survived and were discovered wandering about the couple's southwestern-style ranch. Hackman was located laying on the ground of a mud area just off the kitchen, with his sunglasses and cane nearby, indicating he may have fallen, according to officials. Despite widespread speculation that the couple had been poisoned, there was no trace of carbon monoxide in their bodies. During his long career, which began in the early 1960s, Hackman, a former Marine famed for his raspy voice, starred in over 80 films, as well as on television and the stage. He received his first Oscar nod for his breakout role as the brother of bank robber Clyde Barrow in 1967's Bonnie and Clyde. He received an Oscar for Best Actor in 1972 for his depiction of Detective Popeye Doyle in The French Connection, and another in 1993 for Best Supporting Actor for Unforgiven.